My practice has always revolved around the idea of the fragility of memories and entropy, how this informs our identity and how it also informs how we locate ourselves. I'm intrigued with the idea of using contradictions and dichotomous relationships to build tension and produce distortion in the works. This can be taken in a practical sense, like from the process of making the works, like painting and photography, gesture and erasure, or in a more abstract sense, like order and chaos, remembering and forgetting, memory and history. The show is split into 2 exhibitions. The main space is called an echo made tangible. This consists of 3 types of works. The silkscreen paintings, which I titled Fragmentation, Fractured Jungle, which I started to do in 2018 for a solo show at Art Informal. For that show, I combined my photograph of the jungle with a stock photo of a different yet similar jungle setting. For the silkscreen paintings in this show, the photographs I used are based on my own photographs that are blown up to measure 100 inches in width. The photographs are then broken into grids and then transferred onto about 60 silkscreens. The initial layer of the canvas works are painted with very loose gestures in varying degrees of density and viscosity of paint. I would then use both gloss and matte mediums to achieve this complex information of paint on the painted surface. I would cover up parts of the painted canvas with paper, acting as a mask, then screen print on it, resulting in a simultaneous gesture of both making and erasing. I would then try to complete the whole image tile by tile, like sort of a process of bricklaying. Through this constant process of printing, masking, and erasing, it gives the work this appearance of a very dense and complex reverberating image, almost like an abstraction or a vibration, an echo of the original photograph. The painted gestures underneath reveals and conceals the image, which can be taken as a metaphor for memory retrieval. In this process, I try to make the translation of the image to the canvas as perfectly as possible, but also knowing errors would inevitably appear. As you move closer to the paintings, the image would begin to collapse, revealing halftone patterns at the same time, also revealing details of the image. Printing errors, misprints, misalignments, abrasions from the silkscreen process, fatigue, integrity of paint and mesh all leave traces. These wounds, scars, and trauma in a way function as memories, similar to how sound is recorded into vinyl. I embrace these errors as they are a sign of the intense labor that went into each work, and they contain this tension between the process and the notion of the handmade and the mechanically made. The white photographs are called post-site, which I started to do also in 2018 for a show at Blank Gallery. These are photographs of abandoned spaces that are being reclaimed by nature, waiting to be reclaimed again. These are taken during the night using flash photography. These are then printed directly onto 5mm transparent plexiglass using only white ink. What gets printed are the areas that the light touched, so in a way, I am treating light as a material. The post-site works are about intervention. It depicts the continuous cyclical act of intervention. They also serve as both intervention of the gallery space, as well as the space and the movement of the visitors around the space, as interventions of the work itself, acting as both photograph and, in a way, a sculptural work. The works would appear to the viewer in parts and fragments, requiring movement in space to experience it, but at the same time, this act of moving will cause the image to fade. The smaller works are also silkscreen paintings, but done on raw plywood. The inherent imperfections of the wood would inform the behavior of the acrylic paint. The images are from the same silkscreens that I used in the larger canvas works, but superimposed on them is an image of a broken fence. These fence patterns are recurring motifs in my practice since 2016, done for my show here at No Space called Binary. Using a similar process of using paper as masks, I would print and erase these fences on top of each other until a satisfactory abstract form emerges. And lastly, the small room in the gallery, I call this exhibition Sun in an Empty Room after Edward Hopper's work of the same name. It contains this single post site work installed in the middle of the space with a warmer tone of light, situated in the corner to cast a shadow that can be seen or hinted at from the main gallery. This work deals with the notion of isolation and detachment, presence and absence, existing as both positive and negative version of itself. I'm fascinated with the imagery of the jungle. It has this mystical quality to it. It can be a place of loss and at the same time, it is constantly being depicted in books and films as a place where explorers would try to search for things like lost cities, gold, or materials with healing properties. This place sort of exists in the in-between, where notions of loss and healing both exist. I'm interested in the idea of painting as a threshold from private and public, interior and exterior. Although the works in the show are part of a series that started before, I feel that these works somehow carry a heavier weight given the current context that it is being shown in and what we have experienced these past 3 years.